Recording. All right, here we are with understanding cryptos and Bitcoin. And I'd like to present to you the who, what, where, when, and how of the crypto world. Let me see. I gotta let it change. There we go. There we go. Okay, so first important slide is what is cryptocurrency? It's a digital currency that is referred to as coins or tokens. So you may hear both those phrases. And it basically is just a private digital currency. It's now used as a way to buy goods and services. It's also a system of money without banks. So that's really important to understand that it's considered basically decentralized because there are no banks involved. So who runs it? Each crypto token or coin is created by individuals or companies. So there you are, no banks involved. When you open an account, it's up to you to keep track of your passwords and security codes. Super important. I know people who have lost money because they didn't keep track of all that. And maybe they also sent money to the wrong address. So there's all sorts of like details that you really have to keep really good track of and pay attention to when you're setting this up because you're in charge of your money. So because it's a decentralized system, no one company or person is in charge of the system as a whole. So there's great positive things in that you can make a lot of money really quickly. And you don't have to wait for like your bank account to earn an interest rate of like a penny a quarter, you know, which is kind of what I'm getting. And so you can make a lot more than that. The banks, they do make money on your money, overnight lending and such. So this completely changes the whole dynamics of how money is looked at, treated, and used. So when did it start? That's always a big question. 2008 by an unknown person or group of people using the name Satoshi Nakamoto. So the currency began use in 2009 when it was released as an open source software. That means anyone can use it. The first trade was with Bitcoin on October 12th, 2009. Bitcoin first started trading from around 0.0009 cents to the dollar. Today, it's traded at $63,000 per coin. So anybody who held on to their coins, and some did, and some just didn't think it was worth anything and forgot about it in their computer or lost their codes, you know, are really like banging their head against a wall now because they could basically be billionaires. So what kind of cryptos are there? There's really thousands of them now. Then more are being created every day. Popular ones are Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Litecoin. Newer ones are a great bet as they can increase in value quickly in a short period of time. Shiba Inu, for example, went up over 29 million% in 6 months. It was just crazy. And anybody who got on that train did very well. Right? But in a dollar, you're a millionaire. It's just crazy. So here's, you can see the pie chart here that Bitcoin really holds the majority in terms of people's having value to having those coins. And Ethereum's next. And then there's lots in that pie chart of others. And there's a lot of people who are investing now in a lot of the newer coins. They're a little risky for sure, but they have a high rate of return right now. So that's the game you play. Like, are you willing to make the investment on something small to make a big return? Or is it going to just like dive, you know? Yeah. So cryptos, why are they sold? They're sold on exchange. Oh, where are they sold? Sorry. They're sold on exchanges, much like the Ameritrade site, where you can buy stocks. You can buy them and see reports on crypto exchanges. The top ones are Coinbase, which is a publicly traded company, Binance, Kraken, Crypto.com, and Gemini. and they're bought and sold 24 hours a day, 7 days a week worldwide. So you can wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning and be like, oh, what's my value right now? You know, and people do that. Some people do that because they also can get an alert on these to let you know when it's reached a height or if it's gone down really low. So you can just jump on real quick and do some trades. That I don't do that myself. I kind of feel like I can't get overwhelmed by it, and it can take over your life. Like some people I know are saying they're just emotionally tied up in it. You know, they're happy when they're up and they're sad when they're down, and it's just like some people's like for hours are on it. So that can happen, but I'll tell you, I actually did that today. I have to admit, I was on for a few hours. And yeah, so I was like, oh, I found out about this really great coin. It's going up in value. It went up 160% in a day. In a day, can you imagine? So I got in and I did make some money on it. So I was pretty happy with that. And then I sold it. So what I'm learning is that you got to buy it. If it goes up real fast, it's going to go down for sure. So you sell it as soon as you can when it goes up really high. And not all the coins do 160% in a day, but when they do, you're going to, you know, there's going to be like a pump it up. They pump it up and then people sell. So that's a tip. What is a crypto wallet? It's a place to hold and send your coins or tokens like a bank account. It's an app that you download on your cell phone. There are fees to transfer digital money, transaction fees. There are many, such as Clever, Tron, Coinbase, Binance, and more. Have you ever heard of a crypto wallet? Are you familiar with it?
Well, you see it like there are places that'll be like you can pay with your crypto wallet. I've seen things like that online.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. You know, once you get into this world of crypto, you actually have to get a wallet, like for some of these to just hold your coins. And also to do different trades with like smaller coins and stuff. I have Coinbase, so I can do all my transactions on my desktop, but they say that if I want to do like the smaller coins that aren't listed on their regular platform on the website for desktop, then I have to use their wallet, the Coinbase wallet, and then you can access other coins because they're tied in with other exchanges. Does that make sense?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, I don't want to confuse you. I'm
No,
trying to
no,
make it as
we're
simple
good.
as possible. But it's a lot to take in. It really is. It's. I thank you for having the patience to try to absorb this. Is it secure? That is a big question. Much more than actually other financial institutions and systems. It's one of the reasons that it was created to have a better security with financial transactions. Cryptocurrency transactions are recorded on a network of computers called blockchains. You may have heard that phrase. So the blockchain network agrees on each transaction at lightning speed of every buy and sell that has ever taken place and records it permanently. So that way it does like a check and a double check when you make a transaction that coin actually exists that you can buy. And then it makes a record of it on a number of different places, different servers. So there's very little chance of replication, duplication of your buy or of the coin that you have, the specific coin that you get, or of counterfeiting. So it's a pretty tight system and how it's been designed. I think it's pretty phenomenal. Why do people buy and sell them? There's a number of different reasons. The top one is definitely to make an investment and get a return on your money because the valuation of these coins goes up like crazy. Most of them have gone up over 100% in a year. You get a higher rate of return on the dollar than a savings account or a checking account, as I mentioned before, when you get like pennies, you know, every quarter. You also have an option. It's an option to stocks and bonds. So some people want to diversify. This is something to add to your portfolio to diversify. You know, I think some people like to have stocks and bonds and they just want to add on, you know, the crypto world to it. And so they're moving money around. I have some stocks. I actually felt like it wasn't moving as fast as cryptos. So I sold some stocks, put it into the crypto world, and then, I carefully watch it, and then it goes up in value a heck of a lot faster than the stocks have. It's also to be in a worldwide trading platform, which is kind of exciting, where it's decentralized. And then now with the option of buying and selling things using crypto, that's happening at a high increase for sure. It's exponentially increasing. So who accepts cryptos? I did a little research on this. So there's travel agencies, airlines such as Cheap Air, online stores, hotels such as Resorts World Las Vegas, coffee shops like Starbucks does online via their app. Phone companies, AT&T is taking them now. And MasterCard just announced that they're accepting all different kinds of cryptos for payment. A big one, I think, was El Salvador. The entire country now is
I did read that.
allowing the Bitcoin as legal tender, legal payment in their country. So it's a slow adoption apparently in El Salvador, because it's just really, not everybody knows how to use it. So they've got like ATM kind of machines for Bitcoin all across the country now.
Fine.
That's
Really
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. So, well, one of the reasons that it's helpful is because, when people who are from El Salvador and they work in like the United States, and then they send money back to their families in the country, which happens a lot. This is actually a cheaper way of doing it, where they can move the money, they can put it into a crypto account and then send their crypto to a family member in the other country. And it costs less than Western Union.
I'm sure. Sure.
And you don't have to provide all your ID and all that stuff. Every time you do a Western Union, you got to give them like your life story.
Mm.
I tried to say, somebody asked from Africa asked me, can I send him like $20? I'm like, yeah, you need a little help. He's a friend of mine. He's like, Western Union me. I'm like, okay. So I went to Western Union, and oh my gosh, there's so much information they wanted from me. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not doing this. So we'll have to find another way. So anyway, this is one of the reasons I think that El Salvador decided to accept this as legal tender. It'll help increase their economy too, because that more people will be sending money via crypto, because this is now a $2 trillion industry. So how can they increase in value so much? Cryptos are all based on supply and demand. Each token or coin, when it is created, has only a certain number issued. So there's a finite number of them. The higher the demand for a coin, the higher the value. Some investors do what's called a pump and dump, and buy a lot at once, then sell when it goes up, and then they buy a lot when the value goes down. So here's the chart right here for one. You can see, it's super extreme, and that's what does happen. It crazy goes up fast. And it's like hedge funds or some, group that's decided to buy and then just pump it up. But I'm not seeing that honestly so much with the bigger coins like Ethereum and Bitcoin and stuff. It's really stabilizing a lot more. Right now, this is more so happening with the newer coins. People get so excited, they want to make a lot of money, that they do this pump and dump thing. What different crypto programs are there? I'm in a handful, like Coinbase, Spades Community, Bees.social, Hyperfund. There are a lot of programs. You have to be careful which ones are valid or scams. So best to go to the ones people are using and have been for a while. A while meaning, a couple of years at least.
Sure.
There are also NFTs, which is basically ownership of digital artwork. It's like NFTs is like if you go to an auction house and they're selling an original art piece, and then you bid the highest, and then you get that art piece. You also get the certification usually, right? So it shows that it's valid, that is truly an original work of art. And that's the same thing with NFTs. So what you're buying is the original piece, and you get what's called a certification that is the original. because because it's been recorded on the blockchain as such.
And is it though, is it you own the rights to it as well?
I believe so. I mean, you mean so you could sell it to other people?
Or use it commercially?
Yeah. Yes, because you own the original. Like the NFT that was sold, that was the first tweet.
Mhm.
You know, they can sell copies of it if they want to, but they have the original, they hold on to the original file of it because it's been recorded on the blockchain as such.
As theirs.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's one of the advantages of blockchain now, is because we have this record. And it's not just on one server, it's on a whole bunch of servers, so it can be verified. So that's what gives the NFT so much value. So if you have an artist that, you know, draw something like a cartoon, because cartoons are, I don't know, so expensive now. I don't understand it. You know, like a still of a cartoon of an NFT can go for $10,000.
Mhm.
It's because it's the original piece, and they made it really, they popularized it with like a series or something. So it's the original piece of their series. So that's why like sports teams are now getting into NFTs. So instead of baseball cards or, you know, trading cards, they're using NFTs as like a trading mechanism to make a lot of money. So somebody can own the original like trading card of a soccer player, and that they can hold on to it for like 5 years, and it might have a lot of value if that player does really well later on or something.
Just like a baseball card would.
Exactly, but it's just digital.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that's why it's actually nice for artists, I think, you know, because they can make some money on their artwork now. Maybe. The only thing is the entertainment industry is really starting to come in there and be like, hey, this is great. You could sell this for thousands or millions. We're in, you know?
Fine.
So, but I do know some artists, they've created their own NFTs, you know, and it's tricky because I have to pay to list the NFT. So, you know, they have to put out money in order to make money.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So it's not great for starving artists.
No, not my daughter. maybe later. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if she can find some place that'll list it for really cheap and market it and push it out, you know, you never know. Could happen.
That's so funny.
So here's one NFT that's worth thousands of dollars.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, so HyperFund, something that I'm in, just to give you a background of like the different kind of programs out there. It's a crypto-based mutual fund, and it pays out 0.005% a day. So what happens is you put in money, and it's like a minimum of $300. And then, so somebody puts in $300, they'll make $1.50 a day, right? Because it's giving you a percentage every day off your money for only a 600-day period. They put it in like a window of time. And when you put in the 300, they triple your money right off the bat. They say, okay, over a 600-day period, we're going to give you 900. Because that's the total interest you're going to make in a 600-day period based on 0.005% a day. So, and what they say is that after you've gained like 50 in rewards, $50 in rewards, you can do a rebuy and put it back in, and they triple that money. So that becomes $150 added to the money that the $900. Does that make sense? So then people keep rolling it over and keep pushing it up. I talked to a guy today, actually put in $10,000, and he's now has the valuation of his account over $40,000.
I'm sure.
And he brings in $200 a day. So he's making good money. I know another guy, he put in $1,000 like a year ago, and he's like a supermarketer guy though. And he's making $2,500 a day on this thing. Isn't that crazy?
That would be lovely.
He actually became a millionaire recently from it,
Oh, I'm sure.
from that program. I'm like, he said he never dreamed it would happen to him, but yeah. So
And is there a, let's say you just want to convert it back to dollars to buy something, buy a house, do whatever you want with it.
right.
How does that work transaction wise? Are you going to get into that?
For
Or
this particular program or different ones, like any of them?
just for any of them?
Yeah, sure. Well, for Hyperfund in particular, you've got to transfer actually a digital coin into the system. They convert it into their own crypto system.
Okay.
And then when you want to cash out of your rewards that you get, then you have to put it back into a crypto and then you cash it out in your exchange. So they have their own like microcosm inside. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm so glad you're picking up on this.
No, I mean, I was worked in banking, so I'm fine.
Oh, perfect.
I'm good. Yeah, that all I get.
Okay, this is a big leg up here. Okay, good to know. Okay, and now I'm going to show you Coinbase and what it looks like in a second. And then Spades is a coin that actually I'm helping to push out onto market. My husband and his team created the coin. And so that's how I'm learning a lot about it too, is understanding like what it takes to make a coin and then to take it to market and all the like, oh my gosh, there's so much required of it. You have to have like a white paper, it's called, which is like a business plan for every coin. Every coin has to have a white paper and they have to actually show it on their website.
Well, it's
and
secure.
it's also listed on Coinbase and all those exchanges. You can click right to it so you can understand why it exists and what it's being used for, because they all have different reasons for existing and have some value to them. So some of them have very little value, like these dog coins, you know, like Dogecoin, and you know, there's the one I mentioned, Shiba Inu. There's a lot of ones named after dogs. I don't know. It's funny. It's cute.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, okay, so look at the next one here. So here we go. Is it risky? Any investment is a risk. Only invest the amount you're willing to use. Cryptos can be volatile, so look at them as long-term plays, because in the past year, they've gone up by 300 to 500% on average of these bigger coins. It's best to have a diversified portfolio of coins in the crypto program. That is, if you choose to get into it, I don't know, do you have a SEC license?
Mm-hmm.
No, so that's not a concern. Because people in the finance industry, when I talk to them about that, they're like, don't talk to me, I could lose my job, you know. I'm like, what, you get the head in the sand, because this thing is like up and coming. We got $2 trillion industry now with this.
Yeah, I'm not really worried about it.
I mean, I don't know what the banks are going to do. Really don't, because people are moving their money out of banks and putting in the crypto, and they're trading, they're buying things. It's changing things. I mean, It's not like going to happen tomorrow, but you know, here we are.
Right.
So paying your taxes on the earnings, this is a question I definitely get, is yes, every exchange where you can convert to your local currency, the US dollar, for example, you have to provide your bank account number and ID. When you set up with an exchange, you have to provide your information. When you convert out and put the money in your bank account, an earnings report is issued at the end of the year, and you'll need to file your earnings and pay taxes on it.
Okay.
That's if there's a profit, obviously, you know.
Or a loss. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like stocks, it's the same idea.
Okay.
So yeah, but you know how to get a hold of me, but there's my contact.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I'm going to share with you the Coinbase. And so that way you can see, have you ever looked at Coinbase or any exchanges? Okay, good. This will be helpful. It's a little slow when there's Zoom. My computer takes a little longer.
That's fine.
So there's simple buttons on Coinbase, which is what I really love about it. I've looked at other exchanges and they are so complicated. So Coinbase is actually now traded on the New York Stock Exchange. It went public. It's over $1 billion company now.
Wow.
So yeah, this is the list of different coins here. As you can see there, the top one is Bitcoin, you know, $1.2 trillion movement in Bitcoin. That's a lot. These are all in the billions. Look at that. It's really wild. They're a little low today. You know, those percentages would scare anyone if they lost like 2 to 5% of their portfolio in a day. But the way these move, it's like they're up 10, they're down 5, you know. Anyway, there's Shiba Inu that I wanted to show you. Check this out.
That's so funny.
But
just the dog on there.
Yeah, I know. There's so many Inus. Like, oh my, it's so fun. There's Kishu Inu. I mean, I've been looking them up. Okay, so in this last day, 1D is the day it's really been tanking. The last week, it's also been tanking. Not good. The last month,
how
it
new
went
is
up.
it?
Huh?
How new is it?
It's back in August 2020.
Okay. Okay, so it's
look
very new.
Look how much it has gone up in 1 year, or a little more than a year, actually. Yeah, since there. Well, the same. Yeah, it was the same value pretty much in August as in October last year.
So are there any that are more, you know how there's a difference between blue chip stock and more volatile stocks? Are there any that are more blue chip that are slow moving but a little bit more secure? And there are some that are like really volatile but you can earn a lot of money?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, that's what's starting to happen is we do have blue chips, and that would be your top ones. Okay. The top movers, which is the Bitcoin, Ethereum. I would say Litecoin is another one. It's not at the top, which is surprising. I guess they're not moving as much. Bitcoin has been a steady growth. I mean, it did have its major jumps, but lately it's not been like huge jumps. But if you look at it in the past week, it's gone up by 0.9%.
Okay.
In the past month, 24%, which is pretty substantial. But in the crypto world, that is not substantial. In the last year, 291%. And this is considered stable, steady, because you can see it's just, it keeps like going up. Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah, but I mean, it started what, 8 years ago?
Huh?
So it started 7 or 8 years ago. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess it listed on Coinbase back in, 2014 at a valuation of about 100 and what was it for? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, who knew back then? I got into this in 2017 and I invested in like Litecoin and stuff, and it shot through the roof. I was just floored. The timing was great. And then it started to go down, 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 you know, so I sold in time to get some profit. But at that time I was like, oh my gosh, I got to get out of this. But little did I know, even the top amount that was still low in today's world.
Lower compared to what it is now. Yeah.
If I held on to it, oh my gosh, I would have made so much money.
So
but you panic, you know, and you're like, I gotta sell. It's like losing all the money, you know.
You see the negative and then you're done. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. 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 I mean, actually, I bought into the Shiba Inu and it went up, and then I decided to get out because I'm like, oh, that's diving too much. Like once it gets into like 10-15% loss, you want to get out for sure.
So I have a bunch of questions.
Yeah, go for it.
The first question is do you know anything about Bitcoin mining?
Yeah. So it's a
teenager
job.
Explain it to me and I don't get it. And that's where completely shut off. Like, you're doing what? And you have how many CPUs in your house doing this? I don't get any of
Who?
that.
You know somebody who's mining?
I know someone who used to. Yeah, Laura Welch's son.
Oh,
Yeah, he used to do that.
yeah. It takes a
Yeah.
lot of energy just to
Yep.
get like 1 or 2 coins, or maybe even a percentage of a coin.
What is it? I never understood that.
It's basically using computer power to crawl around through the whole network of servers and the whole cryptocurrency world to find coins that they can grab. And then
Okay.
they can grab like fractions of it and make some money off of it, but not very much. It ends up being that the energy it takes is more than how much they get.
Okay.
So the bigger miners, though, they have now, I've seen some shows on this, they're getting solar farms built so that they can support the mining, so that they can get these coins. I mean, back in the day, you know, way back when Bitcoin wasn't worth that much, it was probably a good deal. But right now, with it being $61,000
Yeah.
per coin,
No.
it's not really worth it.
No.
Yeah. So, so yeah, it's been a job for a lot of people. There's so Ethereum has a whole world unto itself. So some of these coins are tied to other coins. They connect them. So when their value goes up, that coin goes up in value too. And Ethereum has a lot of coins like that they're tied to. There's a problem with that in that it takes a lot of energy to do the mining to verify that these are in fact valid transactions. So it's called gas fees. It's a whole nother thing. When you get into like transactions with gas fees, it's really expensive. Like I tried the other day to buy some coins called M2 that's tied to Ethereum. They connect them. The gas fee on it to buy any amount was over $200. Which I'm like, okay, if I'm buying $400 worth of this coin, my gas fee is $200. I'm only getting $200 worth of points for $400. I was like, you know, if I'm maybe putting in 10 grand, it wouldn't be a big deal, right? But when you're putting in smaller amounts, it is not worth it. So that's a big issue right now, is the energy usage fee for some of these coins.
Well, and that's the other thing I was reading, is that it's bad for the environment for people to mine them because of the amount of usage of electricity or, you know, gas or whatever they're using.
Well, yeah, electricity. So that's why people are doing solar farms and stuff. They're doing alternative energy in order to support their mining. Which, but if they're not doing that, they're eating up a lot of energy.
Right. And how much are they really getting?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you know, like Laura Welch's son, he probably stopped doing it because he's losing money.
Yeah. I think it was a fun thing he found out on the internet and started doing it.
Yeah, and it's a pain because it's like in your basement worrying along and all day long, and you know, it's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend Allie, her husband did it for years. She's like, I can't take it anymore. It's too loud, you know, it's too expensive. Turn it off. So
that's fair.
Yeah. Unless you're doing a major operation, it's probably not worth it.
Right.
But I know in China, you know, there were a lot of miners in China, and then China was like, oh no, we're not allowing any cryptos. We don't want any of our financial institutions dealing with cryptos unless it's our crypto. So they want a monopoly on the crypto industry in China, so they could build it up and make it super powerful. So a lot of the miners that were in China moved to Canada and like United States and Wyoming and stuff. So it's so we'll see how that all works. But I think we got to keep a watch on the Chinese yuan, I think it's called, the coin, the crypto coin. Yeah. I mean, they're not dumb, that's for sure. They kind of, they know how to create, you know, wealth, and when you centralize things like that and have dominion over it, well, they can do a lot,
I just always think with them, there's more to it. There's a bigger plan,
Mhm.
I'm
Yep.
good, thanks. And okay, I had another question.
Yeah.
Do these crypto companies like Bitcoin and Ethereum, do they have employees?
Yeah. They do. Yeah,
Are
but
they,
they're spread out.
are they physically based somewhere? Like, how does that?
Most of them don't have a headquarters somewhere. They're just in all different places. So it makes it a little tricky for customer service support.
Mm.
I think though that bigger companies, like Coinbase,
Mhm.
because they're a publicly traded company
Mhm.
now, I'm pretty sure they have an office and they're located somewhere.
Okay.
So, but most people are remote who work in these companies.
Okay.
And
Interesting.
that's a gripe that some people have for like Binance. Binance has no headquarters. They're worldwide. They're like the second largest exchange next to Coinbase, or maybe even the largest, but they have no headquarters. Their customer service is terrible. So if you make a mistake or if you send your money to the wrong address, good luck, A friend of mine, actually, she put money into Binance. She wanted to do Binance because she said their fees are lower than Coinbase. So I'm like, okay, and then about a month later, she went back into her account and they said there's no such account, doesn't exist. Yeah, I know. And she doesn't make very much money. And she put in maybe 1,500. And that was a lot for her, I'm like, oh my gosh, you can't let this go. Like, you've got to pursue this. And so I just told her, you've got to hound them. You cannot stop. And that's the way you have to do it in some of these crypto companies. You just have to keep going to customer service. You have to like tweet them. You've got to find out who their CEO is. You just do whatever it takes. And so she did. And finally they turned it back on. They're like, oops, sorry, here it is.
See, and that's the thing. To me, it would be like, the stock market or something like this would be like gambling in Las Vegas, or even buying a scratcher ticket. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. But if you have the money, if it's not going to hurt to lose it, then you might as well try to spend it. But if it's going to hurt to lose it, then don't use it.
Yeah, exactly. If you have that extra cash that you're willing to take the risk on, then yeah, take the risk, but do your homework like you're doing. I found this wonderful group on Facebook, which, oh my gosh, they're wonderful. It's Women in Crypto and Stocks.
Really?
I highly recommend it.
How fun.
Every day they're posting stuff and these women are on it. They're sharp. They've got ideas of like, and then they'll go on there if there's a good thing that's going on, like one of the cryptos is going up. They'll immediately post it on there like, okay, everybody, get on and get this one coin. And that's how I found out about the one that went up a lot today. Is I was on my little, Facebook looking at it and I'm like, oh my gosh, hot news. And just decided to jump in and buy some. And it was a good call for sure. And they're just looking out for each other, helping each other out. So I can always send you the invite if you're interested.
That would be great. I'm just interested in knowing more about it. Another question I had was, so you know how most currencies are based on the strength of a government, or it used to be the gold standard or the silver standard. This is basically based on, like you said, supply and demand, and in a belief in the value. There's nothing more than that. Would you say that that's true?
Not entirely.
Okay.
I'll show you why. Let's go to let's do Cardano, let's say. So Cardano, if we look at it, I won't look at the valuation, but they have a white paper and here's the overview of what it does. So each of these have some kind of utility. And part of their utility is to uphold the crypto network to keep it going. So they have some portion of it that they are contributing to.
Okay.
So Cardano, this one is designed to be a next generation evolution of the Ethereum idea. I know this is like gobbledygook, but
No, I know.
okay.
I'm
It's
following.
intended to be flexible, sustainable, and scalable platform for running smart contracts, which will allow the development of a wide range of decentralized finance apps, new crypto tokens, games, and more. That's a big deal, I think. Smart contracts. Cardano's native cryptocurrency is ADA, which can be used to store value, to send and receive payments, and for staking and paying transaction fees on the Cardano network. So their valuation is really about utility. It's not so much about, is it backed by a commodity, you know, or fiat currency or anything. That's the interesting, beautiful part, I think, of this, and the changeover of what money means. Because it's like, you know, the way we have money right now with fiat currency is like based on like the old Wells Fargo days, you know. It's changing. We've got a whole, this is like a whole new world. We went through the industrial age, you know, the technological revolution, and now we're going through the monetary revolution, I think. But a lot of people don't really see that yet, although the Federal Reserve is very nervous. I know that because they're starting their own division for a digital currency. They're not going to be able to control it. It's not possible.
Is that why they're nervous? Because it's the decentralization?
Yes. Yes, it is not regulated. I mean, there's some regulation to it, but because it's worldwide and there's not like a central headquarters for most of these, like, you know, how can they regulate it? I know that Congress has talked about taxing and adding some tax to some of the companies that particularly that are based in the United States. So some of these cryptocurrency companies now are moving out of the country. So yeah, this was going to happen. I do have a concern because of the taxation thing, is that so as this grows and you have buying and selling of goods using crypto, there's no taxation. You know, this is a global marketplace. So then what happens if this ramps up and gets even bigger? Then what happens to supporting like the state level or the federal level through taxation or even local? Yeah.
Yeah, because if you're going to go to the grocery store and use crypto versus dollars, a portion now goes to local taxes, goes to, you know, paying whatever needs to pay. How would they do that with crypto? Especially because it's worldwide.
Yep.
Unless there's a minimum use tax on everything.
Well,
rather than a percentage, which I don't have a problem with, but that's just, you know.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
I'm a socialist. Oh, well.
It's a healthy way to be.
Yeah.
You take care of everybody.
Yeah.
But so I think it's going to be an evolution, and there's going to be some tug and pull on this. There's now more lobbyists in Washington, D.C. from the crypto market because they're seeing that Congress is really starting to want to clamp down. So they're starting to talk to congressional members because they don't know what this is all about. The congressional members, they're like, what? Who? What happened? What is
half
this
of them
thing?
don't understand Facebook or the internet.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah.
I mean, they're so old, some of them.
Ugh.
You know? So yeah, that's I think we're going to just see quite an evolution of this whole marketplace. But I'll tell you, the speed at which this is happening is astronomical. Really is. There's countries way farther ahead than the United States in using cryptos. We're kind of behind.
Yeah.
So anyway, they have their own
I just think that's
website
so
too.
interesting.
Huh?
It's just interesting.
I think it's totally fascinating. I find it fun and interesting to see this whole evolution. And it is empowering people to create better wealth, you know?
And it feels like it's almost like a game.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to spend $100 on a gaming system or $500, what's the difference?
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I know. Today, actually, I think of, okay, I'm going to save my money, use as many coupons as possible so I can invest in more cryptos. Oh, I know, it's crazy.
So have you yourself ever taken any money out and bought anything for yourself?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh. 2017.
Yeah.
When that whole spike went up, I made seriously $20,000 in a month.
Did you buy yourself something fun?
What I did is I blew it all on a wedding for my husband and I that we never had.
I think I saw those pictures on Facebook. How cool is that?
Yeah, it was so fun. We had it down in Malibu on the beach. And you know what? My family didn't have to pay the bill. Nobody had to. I was like, I got it. I organized the whole thing. I flew my friends down from Oregon from different places. I got an Airbnb like compound with like 3 houses on it, a
Yeah.
yoga studio. And, I hired a DJ, a photographer, all this stuff, and it was covered. It was so cool.
See, that's the kind of thing.
I spent it all.
Yeah, but you know what? So what? So what? You had a really awesome time and it didn't hurt your bank. It didn't hurt your bank account,
No. Steven's mom was like, so I'm really worried, like, how are you going to pay for all this? I'm like, I got it covered.
Funny.
She was definitely flabbergasted. She's like, wait a minute, in 1 month, you what?
It can happen. That's very cool. That's very cool.
Thank you. Yeah. So, but right now I'm just kind of keeping it in there and trying to build it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, we really need to think of our retirement in some way. Like if I can, keep building it up, then we have a little more nest egg to work with. I mean, there's definitely lots of opportunity, I think, in this home market for sure. And I'll just stop the recording because it's a long recording if we keep.